Jeremy Rees last updated 1337, December 5, 2017. Exporters are waiting to have the conversation whether to invoice in renminbi. A survey of firms doing business with Chinese firms has found both sides waiting for the other to raise the question of invoicing in renminbi. A conference in Auckland heard Professor Kathy Walsh, from the University of Technology, Sydney, presented the findings of the 5-year survey of Chinese and Australian firms to a conference on financial liberalisation and the renminbi, organised by Victoria University and the New Zealand Contemporary China Research Centre. One of the most striking results of the survey is that both Australian and Chinese corporates are waiting for the other to initiate a change, she said. In one survey, 70% of Australian corporates were waiting for Chinese firms to request, and 76% of Chinese corporates are waiting for Australians to accept. Will the renminbi one day challenge the US dollar in trade? The results reflect somewhat of a waiting game where each firm is waiting for the trading partner to take the lead. Professor Walsh, who has studied the internationalization of the renminbi, argued that it was inevitable the Chinese currency would take its place on the world stage, but it was a slow process. Her survey of the expectations of invoicing in renminbi found the benefits to Australian firms were predominantly price and access related, but firms also rated the ability to accommodate the Chinese trading partners. Read more. Chinese cities like Shanghai lead uptake of renminbi. US dollar still outshines Chinese currency in trading. Chinese firms saw benefits more in terms of reduced exchange rate risk and improved trade terms. There is a willingness by many Australian companies to settle trade in RMB should their Chinese trading partners request it. However, they don't seem to be actively pursuing it. The survey, which straddled Sydney being designated as a renminbi transaction hub, found many Chinese small firms were often unaware they could invoice in the Chinese currency. But, she said, it was clear from discussions that some Chinese banks discouraged invoicing in renminbi because they could miss out on high-margin foreign exchange business. This was also the case for firms using trading companies to manage their trade and invoicing, as none of these firms used RMB for settlement. Trading companies have a long history in China and traditionally act as a broker between foreign and Chinese companies trading with each other. It is likely that the trading companies are charging the clients a substantial fee for foreign exchange transactions, and like the banks are reluctant to give up the fees. While many Chinese and Australian corporates were not using renminbi for trade invoicing, some had begun to test the water, with corporates trialing a small number of trades, with firms seeing it as a trial or a leap of faith. Copyright Fairfax ends at News.